What is going on, people? This is episode 348 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and we have the schedule. The schedule's been released, and it's going to be pretty interesting to what we're going to talk about today, because we're not just going to just talk about the schedule. I mean, that is so easy. I mean, we're going to look at it, but we're not going to just talk about the schedule. I really want to talk about the feedback that people are giving about the schedule. I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on that. Also, I just want to talk about one game. And the reason why I want to talk about one game, because we have to take it one game at a time. I want to talk about the Saints game. And I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on the Saints game. Very, very, very early impressions of what I think could happen in that game. So we're going to skim through the schedule. We're going to talk about some feedback that people are giving, and we're going to close this out by talking about the Saints, our rival, our hated rival. So hopefully you guys hang around. If this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. Once again, I am VF Baller. We talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Atlanta Falcons schedule has been released, and if you want to continue to listen or watch this podcast, I am on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, outside of me being on YouTube and Rumble. So go check me out on your favorite podcast platform. And over there, you can subscribe and download the podcast whenever you get ready. Also, if you're just watching over here on the YouTube or Rumble Avenue, give me a 5-star. Give me a 5-star rating on the podcast platforms, but hit the like button over here. Kind of got a little mixed up right there. Hit the like button and share this podcast. Enough of that talk. Let's get into it. All right, you see it on the screen. The preseason games look like we're gonna be playing the Lions. We're gonna be playing the Jets and the Jaguars. Man. You talk about easy preseason. I mean, these teams are up and coming. I think we're slightly ahead of them as far as talent goes. But you never know. It's preseason. I don't care if we win or lose those games. But I do want us to walk out of those preseason games unscathed with injury. And I hope everybody walks away getting ready for week number 1. So that's the main thing about that. So that is preseason. It is what it is. When we go through the schedule itself, week 1, we got the Saints, we got the Rams, then the Seahawks, then the Cleveland Browns. That's the first 4 weeks. Then 5 through 8, we have the Buccaneers, the 49ers, the Bengals, and the Panthers. Then 9 through 12, we have the Chargers, the Panthers once again, the Chicago Bears, and the Washington Commanders. 13 through 16, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, we have a bye after that. Then we played the Saints, and we played the Ravens. And the last 2 games of the season, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and we close out the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is, and I knew this was coming. This is a tough schedule. I knew this was going to be the case. I knew this was going to be a tough schedule when I found out we was going to be playing the AFC North and the NFC West on top of us playing the NFC South. Knew that was going to be the case. Our outside crossover game, we are playing, what's the odd team that we're not playing at all on either side? The Washington Commanders. That's the only team that we're playing that's not any of those divisions. So we got 9 home games, which is really good. It's good to see that we have 9 home games. So at the minimum, if we play our football, if we can play like we supposed to play, we should get at least 9 wins. I know last year the home, playing at home wasn't to our advantage for the most part. We won most of our games on the road. Well, either way, you talking about 9 wins or 8 wins. Either way, that's an improvement of last year. Hopefully we can get that going. But the games that we have at home are actually pretty good. The Saints, Browns, 49ers. Obviously, we're going to have all our divisional teams. We have the the Chargers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bears, and the Cardinals coming to Atlanta, which is pretty neat. I think I mentioned the 49ers as well. I think the only team I would honestly, now a team that I honestly would have liked to see come to Atlanta, I would like to see the Bengals come back to Atlanta. I would like to see Joey Burrow come to Atlanta and play the Falcons, but we have to go to Cincinnati. That's okay. Deshaun Watson is coming into back home to play against us. We also have Justin Herbert coming to play against us. And we're going to possibly have a head collision with another rookie against us when we play against the Pittsburgh Steelers when we go up against Kenny Pickett. So that we got a lot of interesting things going on in with playing in Atlanta. I think this would be a good time to go get some tickets because you're going to see some pretty good matchups. Even if you don't see the best matchups, you're going to see some top tier talent come and play against us, and that gives us much more determination to actual play well, because if we can play well against these guys with this top tier talent, that just goes to show you how well improved this team will be. Now, I want to talk about some feedback that we got with some of the schedule. I don't like to really talk about the fan base on Twitter or whatever the case may be, but the feedback was just basically all over the place, mostly one-sided, but all over the place. A lot of teams saying that we're going to lose every game. Some people that are saying that it's going to be 5-12, 6-11, 0-17. I've seen some people saying that, we had some people that were saying that it was a possibility that they were going to win like 4 games. The most I've seen somebody said, pretty much on Twitter, that was in the losing category, that we may win 7 games. I haven't seen many people to say anything outside of that. So, like I said, it was all over the place, but mostly on the losing side. Now, me personally, I've already said that we could win exactly what we did last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if we win like 9 games. I wouldn't be. I think, once again, I'm looking at the 9-8 side of things, but I would not be surprised if we win only 7. Now, we talked about this earlier this week. We talked about, some people were saying that we can win 11 to 12 games. The only way we could win 11 to 12 games, the only way, and this is dead serious, the only way we can win 11 to 12 games that really we're going to have to get, some really good production out of the defense. We're going to have to shut down some scoring drives from this group of people, group of teams that we're playing. We're going to have to shut down some scoring, because that's the only way that we win. We win if the other team don't score. We can't letting teams having 3, 4, 5 scoring drives on us. We need to limit that to about like 2. If we limited to about 2 scoring drives per game, that's nowhere. That's between 10. Well, that's anywhere between 3 and 14 points. Because a scoring drive means, a field goal, obviously. So if you can hold them to 2 field goals, or hold them to 2 touchdowns, or a touchdown and a field goal, you're looking at, anywhere between 3, 6, 10, and 14 points. So, with that being said, that's the only way that we can do that. Now, the offense themselves, I think the offense is going to be fine. So I think we're going to be able to put up some points. With the running game that we starting to get now, we get the offensive line to do a little bit of some protection. We got a quarterback that can move a little bit, and we got some receivers. I don't even have to talk about the receivers. I think we can, as long as we can throw it up there, I think we're going to be able to complete some passes. So the offense themselves is much improved from last year. It's not even close. So if we could put some points on the board and the defense could hold the team to 1, maybe 2, and I'm going to bend it a little bit, maybe 3 scoring drives a game, yeah, 11 and 12 wins is very, very achievable. But like I said, you got to hold these teams like a Buccaneers, like the Rams, like the Bengals, like the Chargers. What's another team that's pretty high power? Like the Ravens. I ain't even talk about the Ravens. You got to hold them to 2, scoring drives a game. That's the only way we're going to be able to do that. So at the end of the day, that's what, that's basically what it is. That's what it is. So I don't want to, like I said, I really just wanted to talk about that when it comes to the schedule in general, because the feedback has just been very negative. And I know, why people are. We talked about this before, why our fan base the way it is. And to be quite honest, if you're going to listen to this show, if you're going to listen to this podcast on a daily basis, I will give you a little bit of advice. Stay away from those people. Stay away from them. Don't even argue with them. Just stay away from. We know what our team is capable of doing. We have confidence that this team is going to do good. And the main thing is just stay away from them. We don't want to. I mean, I don't want to necessarily alienate anybody who wants to listen to the show. And I want people who are actually, critical. But I don't want people just negative. I mean, does that make sense? I want people that are critical and understanding that, this team can do some things, but if the schedule is what it is, or if you're playing against a team that's possibly just going to beat you that day, you're going to be critical about what needs to change. But you just have some people out just out of overtly negative. Stay away from those people. Just stay away from over here. We can have really good conversations about what we can and can't do in a respectable manner where we don't have to feel like we're dragging our own team. You know what I'm saying? Some people were, you notice that some people now have stopped talking about the draft thing. People are starting to open up and say, oh, you know what? The people who were talking about the draft before, they're kind of right. The draft picks do look kind of good now. No, I didn't too much care for Marcus Mariota at first, but you know what? I kind of see what's going on. Why do we, end up signing such and such person? I didn't like that, but it's, after a while, it starts to, it starts to wear off. And with that being said, the scheduling thing, this is probably like one of the toughest things is going to be able to wear off, because the schedule is a year-round or whole season thing. They can constantly go and look and think, oh, the future is this. We're going to lose this, because they don't know. And the problem is we don't know. This is why I said I want to take this one game at a time, because we don't know what's going to happen. When we play the Washington Commanders, we're not going to know what's going to happen the last week of the game, if that game going to be for a playoff spot or a division title, or if it's just going to be, hell, what if both teams are like really, haven't lived up to expectations, and both teams are actually, vying for third place in the division? We just don't know. We don't know. So with that being said, this is a very early assessment of the first game, not the entire schedule. Because I already said, if you want to be successful in this with this entire season, you're going to have to limit every team that you play to at least 2 scoring drives, maybe 3. If you cannot do that, you're going to have a long season. And I like what the defense have done. What we have in the secondary. We bolstered up the front 7. We just got finished signing another linebacker. We got the pass rush that we wanted. So if we can stop teams to only having 2, and I'll say this again, 2 scoring drives, maybe 3, yeah, we can be successful. But that's as far as I want to go and say, like, okay, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game. We're going to win this game. We're going to win. Let's just talk about the Saints. Now, the Saints going to have James Winston back. And they actually signed Tyrann Mathieu. And you already know how things are going with Cam, what's his name? Cameron, number 94. Goodness, I can't stand his ass. But you know what I mean. This is Cameron. It's not Cameron Hayward, is it? I don't know what his name. I really don't like him. But anyway, that pass rush is going to be there with him. So the main thing is we're going to have to find a way to basically get at their offense. I don't think their offense is going to be as good as it was before. They don't have the original coach anymore. But they're going to have some tricks up their sleeve. Taysom Hill is going to be playing. Jameis Winston is going to be playing. They're going to Michael Thomas. I think he's going to be back. Chris Olave is going to be playing for them now as a rookie. But I think we have a pretty good defense. I honestly believe that our front seven can handle their offensive line now. I think our front seven is actually something to, be proud of now. So at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup, not just in the trenches, but I feel like our secondary is going to be tested. And this is what I want to see. I want to see what A.J. Terrell, I want to see what Casey Hayward, I want to see what Chris Harris and Richie Grant and all these other guys that we have. Maybe if the guys are undrafted free agents, will probably make the team. I want to see what that secondary is going to do with a team that is clearly pass heavy. Clearly they're pass heavy. So we need to. This is going to be a good test. And I don't know how things are going to be. Things could change between now and week 1. We still haven't played 3 preseason games yet. But very early, I'm looking at the Saints game. This is going to be a test because first and foremost, this is a rival. This is a divisional rival. And they know us pretty well. We know them very well. Now, both teams are pretty much transformed now. There's no Matt Ryan. There's no Drew Brees. We basically have a totally different team playing against the Saints now. Saints, they still have some of those guys still around. They still got some of the, the Alvin Kamaras of the world, the Michael Thomas, like I said. They still got a few of those players still around. But for the most part, nothing changes about how we feel about this team and vice versa. It's going to be a very, very tough game. It's going to be a very, very fun game. It's going to be a really good game to kick off the season. And that's what you want to see when you start off. You don't want to start off a season, playing against a team that doesn't gain excitement throughout the season, or start the season off with excitement. And we're playing in Atlanta. We're playing at the Dome. We're playing at Mercedes-Benz. So this could be really a really good start to the season. Walk away with that with a W, and we have to fly out to LA. And that's going to be tough as well. But it's a good way to start. I think we're going to be pretty decent this season. And we can show off how well we're going to be against a formidable opponent that we do not like. That, to be quite honest, we kind of don't even respect. But we know when we play them, it's always a good test and a good matchup of what we can or can't do. And it's a good test for the beginning of the season. So I'm not really into all the rest of the games right now. We don't know what's going to happen in week 6 against the 49ers yet. We honestly don't know what's going to happen in week 1 against the Saints. But we know the team well enough to know with what they have. They bolstered up their secondary. Jameis Winston's coming back. Alvin Kamara, he should be playing because I don't think he's going to be going to trial for his situation in Vegas. But that's a whole nother story for another day. He should be playing. Michael Thomas should be back from his injury. He's still on the team though, right? I've heard very little from him. Is he still on the team? Interesting. I haven't heard from him. Chris Olave is going to try to make a name for himself. His first game playing. You got to think about it. Look at that. Chris Olave versus Drake London. That's going to be really interesting. That's going to be pretty cool. You got a secondary like Marshawn Lattimore and those other guys. Their secondary is going to be pretty good. And our secondary looks like it's going to be pretty decent as well. But I think we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in our front seven. I want to test and see what Jameis Winston can do against that pressure because he's known to be pretty decent. He's not a bad quarterback. The whole 30 for 30 stigma is on him. But if you can get pressure on him, we can stop some scoring drives. See how I did that, right? Stop some scoring drives. So we're going to see how this plays out. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Their schedule's out. And, you got the feedback from people that are having their opinions about this team, But over here, we don't necessarily do that. We're more realistic than anything. We try to keep it real. And we're going to take it one game at a time. Playing the Saints 9-11 at the Georgia, I was going to say the Georgia Dome, but at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're going to see how that plays out. I think they're going to be pretty surprised what Arthur Smith and them can do. It looks like they made some good moves. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on the field. If you like this content, hit the like button, share this commentary, share this podcast. Hit the subscribe channel if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, if you're on the podcast avenues, give me a 5-star rating if you're over there. Let people know what I'm doing over here, everybody. Hit that share button and share it to somebody that you may not know. Hey, if you've done that already, do it again. Send it to somebody again. Send it to the same person again. Send it to anyone that you feel that may want to understand what's going on over here. We love our Atlanta Falcons over here. We love our Georgia Southern Eagles over here. And it's going to be really fun to see what happens. And it's going to be fun to talk about all this football that's going to be happening in the coming months. But we already do that every day, right? You guys enjoy your weekend. You guys have fun. Take time to unwind a little bit. Hey, even if you're working, don't work too hard. It's the weekend. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Thank you guys for the support. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I thank you guys for all the support the past few weeks. And we are growing. We are moving in the right direction because it's all thanks to you guys. And I will see you guys on the next one. See you guys on Monday. You guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.